Good evening. Welcome to tonight's Political Forum. I'm attorney Shirley Byers, president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Omicron Alpha Omega Chapter, one of the sponsors for tonight's forum. We sponsor tonight in collaboration with the Links Incorporated, Mississippi Roses Chapter, where Dr. Irene Walton Turnage is the president, and the Marshall County Bar Association. I would like to acknowledge and thank Dr. Johnny Moore, president of Rusk College, Dr. DeBayo Moyo, professor, Sharon Goodman-Hill, our moderator for tonight, Gerald White, broadcast engineer, Frank Gibbert, director of broadcast operations, and the mass communications department at Rusk College radio station, WURC Radio 88.1, as well as our candidates who accepted our invitation for this political forum. Tonight's political candidates are vying for the position of Marshall County Board of Supervisors in the special election, which will be held on Tuesday, November 4, 2025. This local election is important because local elections are the heartbeat of democracy at the community level. Local officials like mayors, aldermen, school board representatives, sheriffs, and county board of supervisors make decisions about public safety, education, housing, and infrastructure. These leaders influence everything from road repairs and zoning laws to school curricula and policing strategies. Local elections ensure that community voices are heard and reflected in policy. Local elections allow residents to hold officials accountable and push for changes that align with local values and needs. Local elections are a gateway for young people and first-time voters to engage with democracy. In short, while national elections grab headlines, local elections quietly shape the world right outside your door. There where your voice can echo the loudest. I encourage you to listen to the candidates this evening so you can make an informed decision when you vote either by absentee ballot or go to the polls on November the 4th, 2025. As United States Representative John Lewis once said, the vote is precious. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in a democratic society. Your voice, your power, your vote. Please vote November the 4th, 2025. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Attorney Byers, for those words of encouragement. Now let's meet our candidates and explain how tonight's forum will work. Each candidate will begin with a 5-minute opening statement, followed by questions prepared by our forum committee. Each response will be limited to 2 minutes, and we'll conclude tonight's event with closing statements from each candidate. We want you to know that all 7 candidates in District 1 and District 3 races were invited to participate this evening. We wish to note that some declined with appreciation and others did not respond. Participating tonight are Ms. Benita Fountain, candidate for District 1 Supervisor, and Mr. Ray Woods, candidate for District 3 Supervisor. And here's a little biographical information about both of our candidates. Miss Benita Fountain is mother of 3 and a grandmother of 2. She's a Holly Springs High School graduate, also a political science major from University of Southern Mississippi. She played 4 years of Lady Eagle basketball. She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta sorority and D 338 chapter of the Eastern Star. Former alderwoman of Ward 1 for the City of Holly Springs, and a former employee of the Marshall County Sheriff's Department, retired with 32 years of law enforcement service to Marshall County. Mr. Ray Woods is a lifelong resident of Marshall County with deep roots in public service. His grandfather, J.P. Woods, served as district supervisor, and his father continued the legacy as a state representative. Ray has built his own path as a successful small business owner operating Mid-South Erosion Control for the past 24 years. That's a brief introduction to our candidates. And we are about to start. We'll begin with opening statements from Ms. Benita Fountain, followed by Mr. Ray Woods. Ms. Benita Fountain.
Yes.
Go ahead with your opening statement.
Good evening. Thank you all so much for having me tonight. I am so honored to be here to announce my candidacy for the 2025 Marshall County District 1 Supervisor. I am a lifelong member of Marshall County. I am a mother of 3 adult children and the proud grandmother of 2 small little fountains. I have served Holly Springs in Marshall County a number of years, 12 years as an alderman for the city of Holly Springs, which encompasses Rusk College right here where we stand. Also 30 plus years in law enforcement, starting out as a deputy sheriff, but spent most of my time specializing in youth crimes, programs to rehabilitate the youth, and programs, public relations for the sheriff department, which means we have to create a lot of things to keep our kids out of trouble and to steer them in the right direction. I was one of the first DARE teachers here in Marshall County to restrain children from the use of drugs and alcohol. And I have just done many, many things. I've had to create many, many things in Holly Springs and Marshall County to keep our youth engaged. It has worked well for me. I'm a visionary. I like to create. When we don't have, we have to make. And that's my strong point. I've served Holly Springs. I've graduated with 3 degrees of certification from the Mississippi Municipal League, basic, advanced, and professional. So I've had extensive training in government, municipal government, parliamentary procedures, and I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to announce my candidacy. I think I have what it takes to bring to the table to be a candidate, great candidate for supervisor, Marshall County. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Woods.
Well, thank you and good evening. Thank you, WRC, for having us here and hosting this tonight to reach out to the community of Marshall County and District 3. I am a lifelong resident of this county, this great county, and in this great state, and it's a privilege to be at the point in life to where I can try to give something back. As much has been given and shared through the years of knowledge and good leaders that we've had of the past, I just see that the future comes and it holds so many uncertainties that we just need to have some strong decisions and direction in our county, and there's so many things going and happening so fast. But I am a independent business person that we've been blessed to work a group of fellows for the past 24 years and produce from a family. I've raised 2 children that are very successful. I've been blessed to have 5 grandchildren, and we're raising 2 grandchildren. So I count them as children, so that's a total of 7. But so I understand what people go through that are raising children, because here we are, and there's so many obstacles in front of us, and the right decisions have to be made in our future of our schools, future of our infrastructure, our roads and access, our safety, emergency, and response. There's so many things that you don't hear being sought after to solve these problems right now. So this is some of the goals that I have is for infrastructure, and we just really like the opportunity of being here. A little bit about my past. My grandfather was J.P. Woods. He was supervisor of District 3, same district I'm seeking election candidacy for, is for from 50 to 73. And my dad came along and was state representative from 89 till 2013. And I think the proof is there that both of those gentlemen served the full community, not just parts of it. They served every individual. And I look for that opportunity, and I try to strive to be the same type person as my grandfather and my dad. So I hope that you will put the confidence in me, give me the opportunity, and please get out and vote. This is the most precious privilege that you will ever have, is to vote, and every vote counts. And it can be changed here from the bottom, but if it's not changed here, it'll never change up the ladder. It has to start here, in our roots. We thank you for this opportunity, and thank the radio station for having us.
Okay, and we thank you, Mr. Woods. We are now preparing to go into our question portion of this forum on this evening. Once again, I want to reiterate that we have these questions prepared by the forum committee, and the candidates have not seen these questions, and they will give you their full attention and full, honest, organic answers. We will start with you, Ms. Fountain, if you would answer this question first. What are the responsibilities of the office of supervisor?
The office of supervisor normally is roads, bridges, and ferries. But now supervisors have a major impact in all aspects of life here in Marshall County. They are over the sheriff's department. They're over the tax assessors. They're over the clerks, the county clerks. They play a part in everything in Marshall County that makes this place livable. And I think a good supervisor should be a good leader, good leadership role, and the duties, take them very seriously. And a person that holds that position has to be very trustworthy, because it affects everything around us and our way of life.
Thank you, Ms. Fountain. Mr. Woods, would you respond to that as well? What are the responsibilities of the office of supervisor?
Thank you. Well, as it was just said, there's so many new responsibilities compared in the past. We were a beat system, and the supervisors did everything. They did the actual road work and the bridge repair, and they still administrated over your chancery clerk, your circuit clerk, and all the clerks and the part that they are involved in the schools. But now it's so much new business coming in industry that it is so many decisions to make, and the supervisors have to be responsible. They can't just put this off on the people that work under them and the superintendents and stuff. It actually takes involvement of knowing what's going on. I've been in business. I've worked in this industry for a long time. I think I have an opportunity to use my foresight to help make the right decisions that will impact each individual, whether it be from the schools to the dealing with the court systems or just everyday life. I think that that the supervisor has a big responsibility and is responsible to the community that they represent for every aspect of it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Woods. Now, coming back to you, Mr. Woods, what qualifications do you believe are important for the position of supervisor, and what experiences have you had that makes the audience know that you have those qualifications you believe that supervisor needs?
Well, I think every supervisor ought to be able to have just a mind of business, of being able to run your own daily lives and your businesses, which it involves your employees. So if you're a viable business, you're taking care of people already. So you have to be able to look at these projects, and you have to be able to to put your input from, and mine as a personal, I've been around the construction industry and highways and bridges being built. That's the kind of the business I'm in, the erosion control. So I work under all these people, and I see all these different levels of the process. And for 24 years I've absorbed a lot, and I see the needs of the shortages of our roads, our accesses, just to make daily life better, that I see that we can improve on, and yeah, I would like the opportunity to try to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wood. Same question for you, Ms. Fountain. What qualifications do you believe are important for the position of supervisor, and how do you know you have those qualifications? What experiences have you had?
I believe that a supervisor should exemplify good leadership. I think that the normals of the position would include honesty and fairness, knowledge and experience, visibility and accountability. But a few things should go beyond that. There should be a relationship with your constituents. They should see you. They should be able to believe in you and trust in you. True leadership should be driven to identify the needs, assess the needs, and offer a solution for the needs of our constituents. And sometimes it takes a little thinking outside of the box. Everything people think is just inside the box, just to give the norm. Everybody has a template. They can just follow the leader. But sometimes, especially in the case of Marshall County, you should be thinking outside of the box. I am a visionary. I believe when there is no way, we don't have a path to follow, that we make our own path. I have the experience of being a former alderman, so I have government experience. Like I say, hundreds of hours of training through the Mississippi Municipal League, which has prepared us to handle any aspect of government and the problems and how to solve them.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Ms. Woods. We want to remind our audience that Ms. Fountain is running for District Supervisor for District 1, and Mr. Woods is running for District 3. So one good thing about tonight, there will be no mudslinging, because you all are not opponents. You are in this different districts, so that's something, a positive note on tonight as well. Now, coming back to you, Ms. Fountain, a county supervisor, as you all have both already alluded to, has many roles in county government. What do you see as the most important, and why?
I feel the most important role of the supervisor is to meet the needs of his community, of his area. You can't do that until you get out in the area and meet the people and assess the needs. That's very important. We rely a lot on they say road supervisors. Well, in this day and time, most roads are laid. There's always maintenance and improvement of roads. But what other ways can we improve life? They've brought a lot of industry here to the north end, which has been a blessing to us. But how can we use that industry in our everyday life? How can we use that aspect to bring back to our everyday citizens that's home? I feel like we can use that to reduce taxes. I feel like we should bring new ideas of revenue in, even though we're working on a $50+ million budget. There's always new ways to bring in revenue to relieve some of the pressures and stresses of the taxes here in Marshall County for our citizens.
Thank you, Ms. Fountain. Same question to you, Mr. Woods. A county supervisor has many roles, so what do you see as most important and why?
Well, I do agree that we need to be more in touch with our community, because, you know, if we're not in tune with the people of our district and each little community within our district, then we don't know what their needs are, and we just can't sit up here and make the decisions. True, we have to be able to make decisions sometimes, but there's some things that are so big that if you don't take it back and get the input of the community and get their blessings, then you're not serving your community. And I feel that that's something that I love people. I love to talk about. I like to take time to, stop here and to stop there. So I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to bring their ideas into this, because with all the industry that we have, things are growing so fast. We're focused on the industry, we're not focused on the people, especially in the north end up there. There's a lot of tax dollars that are going to complement the industry, but there's nothing happening, no amenities for the people. And I think that's something that we've really got to focus on, because if we're not doing it for our community and our people, what are we doing it for, period?
So true. All right. So, Mr. Woods, why are you running for this position?
Well, my grandfather always said that if you ever get a chance to serve and to give back to your community, to participate. And he was a very community-oriented person. I ran into an individual the other day that asked me who I was, and when I told them, they said, "Well, did you know J.P. Woods?" And I said, "Yes, that was my grandfather." Grand, that's what they called him. And that was such a compliment to me, because he was known as Grand to everybody, because he was just that kind of individual. And I was blessed that this is the family that I've had the opportunity to grow up in. My dad was always giving, a community person. My brother Pat at Woods Farm Supply, he's always doing for the Watson community, and he's always lived in District 3. But his livelihood has all come from Watson. So he gives and donates and does whatever he can for that community. Well, that's just the legacy that is carrying on, and I feel that I'm where I can do this now. So this is an opportunity. It is a special election because we've had a vacancy last November, and it was appointment of individuals to serve in term per the state of Mississippi. And so now we're serving this as it's a special election, and this is for a 2-year period. And I think in these 2 years I can show you that you'll be satisfied with me, that I'm going to work for you.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. I like that connection to the community that you have through your family. Legacy. All right, Ms. Fountain, same question to you. Why are you running for this position?
Well, as I retired, I felt like I was going to be living on Easy Street, and I was going to be having everything like I like it, hunky-dory. But there's something nudged at me that's saying there's still work to be done here in Marshall County. Our county has grown. There are things flourishing around us, but there's also still work needs to be done. It needs to be a person there that can represent me, a single mom, 3 children, having activities, or someone that can even understand or what can I do? I mean, when there's people that's unemployed, or they don't have this or they don't have, they need to have someone there that can be their voice, someone that can understand, because someone coming from humble beginnings, but have a connection with a person so personal that they feel comfortable with coming to me. There, as I've stated also, there has not been a woman elected in this position for over 20 years. And even though there's an all-male board, a woman still has a right to be there. I don't know if chivalry is there, and they may not want to pull out the chair for me, but I can pull out my own chair, and I can hold my own weight. Now, it should be, our opinions matter too. There's so many women entrepreneurs, single business persons, single women, just women in general. And we deserve to have a voice as well. And I want to be their voice. I think I'm very impressed of a person that people can come to. I'm approachable. I understand from the highest to the least. I don't have any status. You don't have to be very high just to talk to me. I'm just a person that I believe can make a difference. I believe my space would be covered, and people will be able to come to me and say what they need to say to get out what they want to feel in Marshall County.
Thank you for that candid response, Ms. Fountain. What do you, Ms. Fountain, see as the most urgent issue facing your district, and how would you address it? We know you're running for District 1. Mr. Woods, you're running for District 3. So I want you both to answer this. What do you see as the most urgent issue facing your district, and how would you address it?
As I've gone out into the district, I've found several things that I would like to address. I've talked to people in the district. A lot of people want to know about the rural fire. As neighborhoods grow, they're building more housing on the north end, but we have housing down on the south end in my district. There are neighborhoods over there but there's no fire. There's no fire hydrants. So they're dependent a lot on the volunteer fire. They want to see more of that done. Shelters for it's the duty of the supervisor to help the paupers, people that don't have places to live, or live in areas or spaces for mental health, or any. Those areas they have been addressed, but they haven't been addressed strongly. We should be preparing a place for our people that can't prepare for themselves as far as paupers. I have a lot of questions as well. Why don't we have night court? I mean, we have industry up here we engaged in. They work 24/7. You get points if you miss. So you take off to come to court, you get points, then you get fired. Well, you should have something to do at night. It should be a night court as far as traffic, as far as youth, as far as assessor, as far as the collector. There should be something accessible for all of our people that are paying taxes to be comfortable with coming to their county seat to handle their business.
That makes perfect sense. All right. Mr. Woods, we're going to change the questions up and keep going down this list because the committee has done an outstanding job with these questions. So, Mr. Woods, how would you strengthen Marshall County's infrastructure and support economic growth?
Well, thank you. Well, on our infrastructure, as she was just speaking about the fire and rescue, I think we're way behind on that. I think with all the industry, and maybe because I'm not in the loop and we haven't had a printout and we haven't been told what's going on, but for the amount of industry compared to the amount of fire and rescue that we have on the north end is, I think, very inadequate. I think we have enough industry there that should be 3 times that fold. But with that said, what about the communities? What about Barton, which is a volunteer fire department, and they're upgrading? They've always done a great job. But and then Bahia is pretty good. Have come a long ways. They've really expanded. My friend Mr. Leslie King helped them get a lot of things up and going, and so he has also with Marshall County. But we need some experience to have the certified people in place, and I think that's what we're liking. And really on EMTs, I just don't think we have enough emergency ambulances and people on staff in the whole county, much less in District 3. I don't think it's enough anywhere from what I can see and I can find out on my own. So that's part of the infrastructure I would really like to focus on. And then there's a lot of roads that need changing up for better access to relieve pressure in traffic. And then we need to be involved in our school system and what we can do, because we're not teaching our kids to utilize these factories up here. We need an extensive VOTEC system.
Okay. This is the Marshall County Supervisors Political Forum. Tonight, our show features 2 candidates from different districts. They are from District 1, Ms. Benita Fountain, and from District 3, candidate Mr. Ray Woods. All right, Ms. Fountain, coming back to you. How would you ensure accountability and collaboration between local government and law enforcement?
Well, that's a great question, since I've done a little over 30-some years in law enforcement. It's very important to me that we strengthen our law enforcement. As the county has grown, we have a lot of bleed over from outside of Marshall County, our sheriff department, and it needs to be strengthened. We need more deputies. We have one of the 3rd or 4th largest land area in the state of Mississippi. So when you're having just a couple of people to cover this big space, it becomes a liability. So I feel like we should increase our number of officers. We should pay them absolutely well. I know we don't have over 100,000 people as of DeSoto County, but we have over 30-some thousand people. And we want to pay them well. We want them to have the training that they need to go out and do their job. We don't want we don't want martial law. We don't want people just out doing what they want to do. We want to have a law enforcement agency in place that is fair, firm, and consistent, that is going to do their job. They're going to do it fairly, and they're going to make sure that our residents are safe. When we go to bed at night, we put it in the hands that we're going to be safe. we're going to be safe. Whatever we want to wake up the next day not in any harm's way. So I feel like that we should strengthen our law enforcement. I am a very big supporter of law and public safety, and I would love to see a local agreement, even an interlocal agreement with the city as well, to just help strengthen law enforcement around our county to ensure safety for our residents.
Thank you, Ms. Fountain. Mr. Woods, how can the county better support small businesses, farmers, and workforce development?
Well, the workforce development, I think, is through, as I was said a minute ago, our vocational. We need to increase it, and we need to teach some of our young people. Everybody is not made and cut out to go to college. We want everybody that has that wants to, but some people just need to learn a good solid trade. So if our school systems were increased into this capability of with teachers of different departments of VOTEC, then you would be producing people that could go straight to work here, the factories, the farm, any local business. It's just, and I think it's a necessity because we're running out of people to work, young people. But it's just not any available. And me as a businessman, this is a big thing I go through all the time. I can advertise and advertise, and nobody answers. Nobody's really looking for a job because they're either tied up in their trying to get educated at a thing. Nobody's learning anything as they used to. They used to learn VOTEC, and it gave them an opportunity. And I think that opportunity needs to be granted again.
Thank you for that response, Mr. Woods. Ms. Fountain, what does transparency in county government mean to you, and how would you practice it?
Well, I've practiced it for many, many years. Transparency is just you're out doing what you're supposed to do, the duties that you're responsible for, you're doing them. And anyone that want to look, they can see it. You don't have to throw a ball and hide your hand. You're standing right out in front on the things that you say that you're going to do, and I believe a person should be a person of their word, male or female or whomever, elected official or not. If you say you're going to do something, then you should be able to do that. And if you cannot do that, then you should be able to take accountability and say why you can't or what has come up, the reason that you can't. Transparency is very important. There's nothing to hide. If there is something to hide, then you may not be the right person for this job. Because I've lived a lifelong, I say over 30 years in law enforcement. You can't hide anything. And Marshall County and Holly Springs is so small, there's no reason to even try to be something that you're not.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Thank you for that answer. And I want both of you to answer this one. What is your position regarding taxes? And we're coming to you first, Ms. Fountain.
Taxes?
Taxes.
Well, I have a lot of elderly people in my family. Our beginnings come all the way back from sharecropping. So we have deep roots in Marshall County, but now they've gotten older. They're in their 80s, and some of them close to their 90s, but they're still paying taxes on property that has been assessed. I feel like the taxes, not only with my relatives, but anyone in Marshall County, if we can have some relief. That's why we're bringing industry here. That's why we're doing economic development, to bring enough revenue in to give our constituents some relief with these taxes. We purchased our home, my mom's home. I purchased it. I paid for it. But we still have to pay taxes, which I don't have a problem paying taxes. I don't want to pay astronomical taxes. So I'm just thinking with new ways to create revenue, bringing new ideas in, maybe creating some new templates, not just following our old. We can find ways to reduce taxes for our constituents of Marshall County. Because we want it to grow. Like Mr. Woods was saying, about the young people. They're all moving to the new metropolis areas. They're moving to Charlotte. They're moving to New York because they want to be a part of something futuristic. They're young business people of America. But that still doesn't mean that we should just fold down here in Mississippi. We still have to have something to offer the youth as well. So we're going to have to compete globally with what's going on to be able to hold our youth here and to make them feel like they are a part of Marshall County and a part of the growth of Marshall County.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fountain. And to you, Mr. Woods. What's
Well-
your position regarding taxes?
Well, we have to have the taxes to pay, but I do agree that we have a lot of elderly people here, and unfortunately, I've seen this before. Someone's spouse passes, they paid the bills, they don't have a lot of local children, nobody's really helping them. Next thing, 3 years go past, and there's somebody knocking on the door saying, you got to move, own your house. And I don't think that ever should be able to happen. And I think that we do have to be creative, and we do need, with all this industry moving here, with their participation and their part, we can't give the farmer away, that they've got to participate in this. And I do think that even though we have some things after 65, I think that those people ought to be, somewhat protected. Nobody should be able to just lose their house.
Thank you for that answer. This is the Marshall County Supervisors Candidate Forum, and you're listening to WURC 88.1 FM, Rusk College's public radio station. Our candidates tonight that accepted the invitation are Ms. Benita Fountain, running for District 1 Supervisor, and Mr. Ray Woods, running for the position of Supervisor in District 3. So now, coming back to you, Mr. Woods, what are the requirements for managing a county budget? Because we know as a supervisor, that's one of the things you get to do. So what are the requirements for managing a county budget?
Well, I think honesty and integrity are the two biggest forefronts. And like I say, understanding whose budget that each department has, and what their requirements are to be able to allocate these funds going forward for each one, and then holding accountability to the departments. Our sheriff's department, as it was spoken earlier, that's something important. We got so many things that they need that they're not getting, but their budget is only. So how do we create new revenue to increase our exposure and our department, individuals, deputies that are out and about in the largest county, and each one of them, we just have to take each one of them and try to be responsible as we can and transparency as we can to the community of making sure we have the funds to allocate that.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Ms. Fountain, if elected, how important will it be for you to follow the budget?
Well, it's absolutely important because everyone has a wish list. Each department is they're going to want to get paid the highest. They're going to want the most equipment. They're going to want all the whistles and everything that goes that they feel that they need for their department. We have to be very careful with that. The budget only consists of so much percentage of the taxes. So no matter what you may want, you still have to allocate the needs first. But over a certain amount of years, if you wanted 5 bush hogs, over a couple of years, you done got a couple of bush hogs. You may not get everything you want in this budget term, but over time, you can get what you need. I think the most important things that we do our emergency management first. When we're budgeting, we budget for emergencies. Who are the sheriff department, the fire department, the emergency management guy for the weather and storm. Those people should come first as far as budgeting and make sure they have what we need, because they're not only protecting themselves, they're responsible for the masses. So we should definitely have their budget in hand, and from there, on down. And everyone wants something in the budget, but we just have to be careful how much we put toward one department over the other, because everyone deserves. I've done a couple of budgets in the past, and it always comes down to a wish list. But as a supervisor, it's our duty to know what's important and what is best at this time, even though everyone may get a chance to get everything on their budget over a period of time.
Thank you, Ms. Woods. Now, We are living in the world of social media everything. And even though we have all of this communication at our fingertips, we still don't seem to do that basic communication. So I would like to know from the both of you, how will you handle communication between the supervisors and other county officers, the public, and staff? How will you handle that? Mr. Woods.
Well, probably a lot direct contact because I'm not a big social media individual. Do use this phone a good bit and more. But there's nothing better than looking at somebody straight in the eye and talking to them. That way you really know what they're talking about and what they're thinking. I mean, you can see the expression and emotions, and this doesn't have that. So I think it makes you more connected. Makes you more connected with the people of the community also. It's just direct communications.
Direct communication. There's something to be said about that for sure. Miss Woods. I'm sorry, Miss Fountain.
Well, I believe in the same. I thought about my vision for that was to have captains in District 1. There's over 5,200 people on the register for District 1. So it's going to be hard to get to every one of them at one time. But I think over time you can. But captains, you have captains in those different areas. So you may have a captain on Moore Road. You may have a captain on Beverly Lane. You may have a captain in different areas to meet with the people, have a committee. Because it's a lot, the Lone Ranger can't be lone in this job. You got to have a committee. You got to have people under you that are going to be directly talking to the people to bring back some information. Me personally, I love to ride through my area. I get out and talk, I ride through, I bring gifts, I bring grapes and fruit and cookies and cakes and whatever because I'm just that type of person. But also for the younger people and the people that work at night, you also can have Zoom meetings. We uncovered a lot during COVID. There's a lot of ways to communicate. You can have a Zoom meeting, a Zoom town hall meeting. Anybody that want to log on, they can log on from the privacy of their own home. You have people that don't want to drive at night. My aunt would have been here tonight, but she don't drive at night. So it's just ways that we can meet face to face, and also ways that we can use Zoom computer skills to make sure everyone's needs are met and voices are heard.
Okay. You know, as a mass communicator, you all know we're in the mass communications building tonight. I definitely want to know that you all are going to be sure that communication
is key.
It is key.
Now, switching gears, still in the same vein. Do you, Ms. Fountain, and I want you both to answer this, do you consider yourself a politician? These committee members did an outstanding job with these questions. Do you consider yourself a politician?
I studied political science in college. Am I a politician? No, because some people have so many different definitions for politicians. Sometimes I think they talk out of both sides of their mouth. So I don't do that very often. I try to be a woman of my word. I stand on my own 2 feet. I try to do what I say I'm going to do. I'm mostly, like I took the oath as a law enforcement officer, a servant. Protect and serve. I think that's my role as in any capacity that I take. Whether it's no capacity, just being a regular person, I take on the duties of protecting and serving. So no, I wouldn't consider myself a politician. Politics are, we're to be known and learned. Of course, we got to learn the Constitution. Of course, you got to learn the laws of the land. That's definitely a politician's way. But just the negative, the talking out of both sides, and the just saying what you want to get what you want, and don't do what you say you're going to do. I don't think I'm big in stature, but I'm very humble in nature. And I believe in the basics, and that's doing what you say you're going to do, keeping your word.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fountain. Mr. Wood, do you consider yourself a politician?
No, ma'am. Never. I'm accused of it sometimes because I'm told I talk too much, but I love to communicate with people. But a lot of times politicians will run over here and say something, and run over here and say something. I'm going to say the same in both places because I usually say something if I feel strong about it, I believe in it, and if I believe in it, I'm going to try to achieve it. And I believe in the communications that we talked about earlier with our community. hearing what people think and what people are looking for, because I can't represent them if I'm not. But even if I wasn't doing this, I would still want my desires to be heard. So I would take everybody's that I could get and try to put them forward. So I just a long way from being a full-fledged politician, because I just feel I have a different belief than the politicians that are on exhibit right now in the world. There's just too many things that are said here, and this is done here. So, we want to try to stand on the faith of our community and be able to serve them. And it's a new day. It's not something that I've just really tried. I'm 65 years old, so I'm just now really trying to do something like this. I feel I'm doing it for the community more than I am me and the children tomorrow, because it's their community, and if we don't fix a few things, they ain't gonna have much.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Woods. Now, going to stay with you, Mr. Woods, and I would like for you both to answer this question. Are there any reforms in the office of supervisor that you support?
Well, I don't know that any that is being pushed forth, but I think that more transparency about what's going on in each board meeting. I know that there's an article wrote and put it in the paper, but in there that I'm not a big high-tech individual, I do think that this service here needs to be more explored in the community, in the boardroom, so the people of the county knows what we're doing. And it's very easy. It's all you got to do is you get somebody to wire it up and put it on Zoom, or you could involve people in so many different ways into these meetings, and yes, there has to be some closed door sessions. I understand that, but some of it's so general that I think the public doesn't hear it, that they don't understand what goes on.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Woods. Ms. Fountain, same question to you.
Okay.
Any reforms in office of the supervisor that you support?
I think the supervisors are, it's a few things I think they could do a little better as far as exposure. They have, they appoint without the general people, everyone don't know. They don't know about it. A lot of things should be given to the public instead of kind of tucked away. As far as jobs and different things that they feel no one knows about them except them, or maybe a few people around, but the masses. There are people out there that may be interested, or that may be their area of expertise, but they don't have any clue until after the job has been fulfilled. So I think they could, do some reforming and in transparency. They didn't want to do the radio station just so the masses could have a good idea of what's going on there. Everyone's not going to understand government. Everyone's not going to understand what they're doing, but it should be accessible for those that would like to participate or engage or learn more about what's going on in Marshall County. Because it seems if you're not in the faithful few, then you kind of get missed out. They have things going around town and around Marshall County that the average person wouldn't know about. So I think those kind of things should be more advertised and get out to to people, instead of just keeping it kind of just in a loop. I'm not an in a loop girl.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Woods. What distinguishes you, Ms. Woods, from your opponents?
What distinguishes me from my opponents is my experience in government, my honesty, my trustworthiness, my dedication as of tonight. I am the only one here that happens to be a female. But that's one thing that distinguished me, my preparedness to come in and fulfill a seat that I've worked in prior to. And in any position, you may haven't done everything that you thought that you could do in that prior position, but it's a learning experience. As you go to the next position, you're more prepared. You're more, you're ready to get in and get some work done. I'm a visionary. I can see things for the future. Because it's not just about me. Mr. Wood said he's 65. I'm 50. I'll be 55 next month. But our children, the two little fountains I was talking about, those people deserve an opportunity to live in a place where they can work, live, and play and feel good about it. My son that played at LSU, he has traveled all over the United States, and he's been so proud to say he's from Holly Springs. But we want that to continue. We don't want to stay stagnant. We don't want to have anything for people to do. And the county can also appoint a recreation director. We don't just have to have recreation in the city of Holly Springs. We can have recreation in the county, not just passing through for the industry, for the steakhouse, not just coming here to work. We should have a reason that people want to come to Holly Springs. It's something here, not just to work here, not just to play sports here, not just for just passing through. We want you to, I want to make roots here. I want Holly Springs or Marshall County to be the place where I raise my family. So those kind of things and ideas, I think that I would be a person to bring those to the table because I have young kids. I know what they're asking for. And that's what I would like to see here in Marshall County.
Thank you, Ms. Fountain. Mr. Woods, what distinguishes you from your opponents?
Well, I think that, first off, I'm concerned about our community, and I've been out talking about it and promoting it. And I've our infrastructure on District 3 is a big thing for the everyday life of people to be able to get from point A to point B because we have so much traffic. We still have, unfortunately, morning time on 309 north through Bahia is impossible. 40 years ago, it was impossible at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is 2025. Why are we still going through this? I know that's the city of Bahia, and I'm talking about Supervisor District 3, Marshall County, not the town of Bahia, but Bahia is the center of that district. And the north people, they've sacrificed so much with all the industry coming in, and we don't have anything for our families. They have to go to DeSoto County. They have to go to Shelby County, to Caryville. There's no facilities, no sports, no walking tracks. There's nothing for nobody in the north. Bahia does have a little walking track. There's several in District 4, and I think in 5, and maybe 1 or 2 in 1. But what I'm saying is those are the things that need to be expanded. The people have to have something for their daily entertainment, daily exercise, and to have time with their family, and that they don't have to go to an outside place. We need them here. We need their roots here. We need their involvement here. If this is where they're living and they're paying taxes, then it needs to be home, permanent, So that's just kind of what I see that needs to be done.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. We'll now move to closing statements as hours quickly coming to an end. Each candidate has 3 minutes to share final thoughts, and we'll begin with you, Mr. Ray Woods.
Well, thank you, and I've really enjoyed this tonight, and I'm sorry that the other candidates didn't have time to come or participate. I just think the people that have asked me in District 3 prior to this night to run, and it's not just something that I decided. That there's other people that reached out and asked me would I, because they feel that I will represent them and be involved with them through this whole process. Unfortunately, we had a resignation last November. This is, for both districts, a special election. We need people to come out and vote. It's the most precious thing that you can do. It's really the only God-given right that nobody can interfere with that we have here. Every other thing has some little aspect that government or other intrusions are, but you can actually go in there and vote, and your voice counts. So we just hope that everybody in this county and District 3 will get out and vote, and we just ask you to vote for us. We thank you, and thank y'all for having us.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Miss Benita Fountain,
Yes.
your closing remark.
I just want to thank you for having me today. It is very important that you all come out and vote on November the 4th for your supervisor. For District 1, I would love for you to vote for me as I stand here alone tonight. My motto is, you can never soar with eagles, running with chickens. So I'm here tonight soaring as an eagle, and I'm asking you to come out on November the 4th and vote for me. I think my experience, my leadership, my honesty, my dedication makes me a strong candidate for this position. I feel like I can bring something to the table. My thoughts, my futuristic thinking, and my approachable attitude makes me a great candidate for this position and to move Marshall County forward, to keep us from being stagnant, to create new revenue, to increase economic development, to make Marshall County a place that we would love to work, live, and play. So on November the 4th, please come out, cast your vote proudly for the only woman on the ballot, Benita Fountain, Supervisor, District 1, Marshall County.
Thank you, Ms. Fountain, and thank you, Ms. Wood. We'd like to thank both of our participating candidates for joining us this evening and for sharing their views with the citizens of Marshall County. We also thank Attorney Shirley Byers for opening remarks, and we remind the listeners that all candidates were invited to participate in tonight's discussion. We would like to note that some declined with appreciation and others did not respond. Remember, your voice and your vote matter. Election day is approaching. Be informed, be engaged, and make your vote count. This has been the Marshall County Supervisors Candidate Forum. I'm Sharon Goodman-Hill. Thank you for joining us.